of Many Words. I'm your host, RP.
I am your co-host King Mackey.
I'm your co-host,
Corey
King
H in the
Christopher.
house.
Yep.
Corey
Yep,
H
yep,
in the
yep.
house. Corey H in the house.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
All
It's
right.
good to have
How's
you,
there?
Corey.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Can everybody see the icon up there? The
I
logo
can.
in the corner?
Yes.
100%.
Good,
Yes,
good,
yes,
good.
yes.
How's everybody doing this evening?
Wonderful.
Loving life.
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty
Living
good, brother.
live.
A little
Living
busy, but
live.
doing
We
good.
was we was
Yeah.
talking about our meals we're eating this weekend that kind of tow us up. Or I'm with you on that, Chris.
Oh,
I had
dude.
I had some salmon. I hadn't
Yeah.
had salmon
hmm
in years. I had some salmon, and me and my wife we was in the same position.
Was it fresh or was it what store was it from?
Well, we got it from Hy-Vee, and it was some particular salmon was supposed to be the best. You know how my wife is. She's like, "Oh, this is the best salmon to get," and they ship it from Seattle and whoop de whoop, and it whoop de whooped us all right.
Oh, man.
Whoop de whooped us all right.
That's right. That's right. Gotta be careful. Look, I'll even say this
Whoa.
too. It's even if it doesn't have the bones in it, it's starting to become questionable as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're right,
yeah.
man.
It's all genetically modified. I believe. I believe it's all laboratory modified. I mean,
I pretty much
Yeah,
only trust
it is.
meat that
It
comes from a
is.
butcher
Yes.
anymore.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
two
Yes, sir.
places in our
Yeah.
area, Mackie, Butcher Shop in Camden and Save a Lot.
mm. Oh, Save a Lot, really?
Save a
Huh?
Lot Butcher's
Okay.
own meat. That's why I get shop at Save a Lot.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that.
They actually have Save a Lot has a deal with a farm in Mexico, and they get a lot of their beef from a ranch in Mexico, and it's sold around $8 a pound for like ribeye. It's very reasonable,
Huh? That is
but it's not prime. It's not prime USD choice. It doesn't have all
right.
that fancy marbling. But
Right.
in reality, if it doesn't have the marbling, it's actually a healthier cow.
I believe it.
It's not eating a bunch of grain; it's eating more
Mm,
grass.
Yeah, I believe it.
Say,
mm. And that's important too to know what you're actually buying, Chris. So that's good,
Hmm.
man. That you know exactly what you're where it's coming from, what they're eating. And that's good. That's good
try
information,
to,
brother.
Yep.
try to.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, Ken. A little bit of words of inspiration, if you will. Life rewards not just those who dream, but those who align their thoughts, actions, and discipline with purpose. Success is not found in chasing outcomes, but in mastering yourself, your habits, your mindset, and your response to adversity. Because when you become the right person, the right life inevitably flows.
Mm. Beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful.
Okay,
Yeah.
Very good.
so tonight is open mic night. Open mic night.
Ooh,
Open
ooh,
mic night
ooh,
exists
ooh,
to create
ooh.
a space with real conversations that thrive without limits, labels, and fear. Through the power of five randomly selected questions, we challenge perspectives, spark meaningful dialogue, and explore truth from multiple angles. This podcast is built on authenticity, respect, and the belief that every voice carries value. We aim to grow mentally, spiritually, and intellectually by engaging in open discussions, whether we agree or disagree, because growth lives in conversation.
Mm.
Each episode is a journey of discovery where ideas are tested, perspectives are sharpened, and is expanded. Our purpose is not just to talk, but to elevate ourselves and everyone listening. This is more than a podcast, it's a movement of thought, unity, and expression. No ego, no division, just real voices, real questions, and real growth. Real growth.
Yes,
Amen.
sir.
Cool.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so we
Word,
got
word.
5 questions tonight. We're gonna have a little bit of mixture of
Woo.
Mm-hmm.
little bit of
Mm-hmm.
everything across the board here this evening. So that'll be pretty interesting.
RP laughing. He
Uh
laughing at
oh.
us already.
Dun, dun,
I already know
dun.
what the questions are, man.
Off
I'm
the
excited.
fly. Off
Ah,
the fly tonight.
yes,
Off the
sir.
fly tonight. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
all right. Here we go. First question. The first question. Here we go. Have Americans become too dependent on political systems to solve problems that should first be addressed by individuals, families, and local communities? Again, have Americans become too dependent on political systems to solve problems that should be first addressed by individuals, families, and local communities? Chris, I'll let you pop that off.
I absolutely do agree that citizens of America has been too reliant on their government, and this is why we're in the boat we're in now. When it comes to issues, especially a lot of people go vote for the presidency,
Mhm.
and there usually is a big turnout. But on a local level, like just here in Lake of the Ozarks, I think we have maybe an 8% turnout for voting. 8% of the registered voters in our county actually vote for local things.
Mm. Wow.
And a lot of people like to complain about this, taxes, this and that, all the different things that are going on, and no one actually understands what's actually happening around them. They're so focused on going to their job, making their money, and paying their bill, and then complaining about their position in life. And then they complain about the government and what the big government is doing, when they don't really know what's actually going on a local level. If you want your community to change, then you have to step in your community to make the change.
Right. I do agree. I do agree. I feel like we have become too complacent, um, and we just don't take the responsibility for anything anymore. You know what I mean?
No.
Um, we need to be sure, and I think that's one something our ancestors. That's one thing I wish would have stuck is that when we talk about the concept or the old proverb of it takes a village to raise a child. Man, that's everybody. Me and Corey, we kind of grew up on the same block, so everybody mama was on your tail. If it was past, it was getting dark,
Woo.
and you was running home, you better get home. Everybody pointing to your house so you can get to the house.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, your mama
Right.
friend or neighbor
Whoop.
seen you at the store doing something wrong. She was on your tail for your mama was on. You only had two whoopings already. You can, you know.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, I definitely believe we've given up our rights and our freedom more and more every day. Just definitely feel like
Sure.
we are.
Absolutely. And right, so in the beginning, was it really written for the people? So, the masses, you know, we have the power in numbers. But through time we have given up. We have given up our power. Maybe it was
Hmm.
equal at one time. We have given up our power, so to where, as the question goes, we are reliant on some things, or a lot of things. You take welfare. You take these programs are
Hmm.
created, Medicare and Medicaid. Just even thought when that is even threatened. The uproar that there is. If the things were to be done. So, psych, let's see, not philosophically and economically, we have given up so much that we don't have any control. When those things are threatened, we are certainly in a bind. Now, can we get some of that power back? I don't know. When you talk about when you have these town halls and things like that, and people go to these places and speak their piece, how much is that when that representative leaves there is going forward? How much of that message is going forward? Is he really representing your county and your district and your local community and those folks sitting around the table discussing these hard times? You know, um, you know, things are created to where policies and things like that. So when these programs are created and we buy into them, a certain part of the population becomes dependent on that. So it's just not easily taken away. And so it gets to a point to where it is necessary. So we think to survive and whatnot. But I'm in agreement with you guys as well. It's we've we certainly have given up too much as far as the masses to the government in that regard.
We have, man.
Yes, sir. I believe that I believe I'm also in agreement with that. I believe that I like the old school way. I really wish that we could like hunt and gather for our food and go amongst our not our kind, but people in our village. Whether that be local, and it's just everything is so perverted. I just I was watching something on the news. I'm sure you guys have heard it. It was some gentlemen that were having some immoral, I want to say turpitude or some immoral political guys that were immoral. You know what I mean? So and I say that to say, we don't know who we're voting for. We don't. I'd rather vote for somebody that I know. like we were talking about order, there needs to be an order. You know what I mean? But I think that we don't know who's leading us. We don't know where they're leading us. So I believe that it should be like back in the day where where we knew who we were dealing with and we know what they were about, man.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm in agreement with that. It's just my little spin on it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Hmm. Hey, you think we can get some of that power back?
Yes,
Mhm.
100%. And
You
the
sure
way we
can.
do that, in my opinion, is um, we have to understand what freedom is, and freedom is our ability to take care of ourselves.
Hmm.
And in order for us to take care of ourselves, we have to gain more knowledge. We have to study. We have to take time away from the things that gives us comfort.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's right.
you think
Agreed.
that that freedom, you think we can take it back with peace or with force?
Neither, in my
Ooh,
opinion.
Oh,
What
okay.
you got? What you got?
Okay.
The freedom is
go
already
Chris.
there. In my opinion, the freedom is there. We have that freedom here in America. We still do. We feel like we don't. There's always, no matter where we live at, and the evolution of humans. On our book club podcast, we go through all these histories of cultures, and what happens to cultures. They rise and fall, and it's a continuation that has never ended. We have never seen a culture that hasn't ended, and another culture that has risen or has changed. But the freedom is always there. It's the ability. It's the intention of the action. So if we want something to happen, a lot of people do things to stay alive, but they're not doing anything to gain experience to pass that on to our future generation. And for one, we have to evaluate the intention of our actions if we want to make change.
I agree with you.
And
It's like, go ahead.
the
I'm sorry. Go
freedom's
ahead.
there. I mean, the freedom. No government can take freedom away from you, but you can give it to them.
I kind of agree with you. You know, we've been psychologically beaten down, in that regard to think to everything that we don't have the freedom when we do. We do. We do.
Yes.
As it says, it's your God given right. You have that freedom.
I don't know, brothers. I don't know.
Go ahead,
I don't
B.
know.
Come on.
You
Come on.
know,
King Root.
when you
Yeah, go ahead,
have
Root. Yeah.
political power, you got political powers that can change the law
True.
on you in a dime. How can you be free when you have no control over that? You know what I mean? And I hear Chris on the voting. you know, I'm not a big component of voting myself. I have to admit that because I don't believe our vote really matters. I feel like people are really put into place before our vote even is even counted in. Um, but I just feel like the freedom I believe we think we have is not really freedom. I mean, I'm not saying Chris saying it's complacency, but I don't see the freedom. You know what I mean? I mean, and I get the mental mindset of being free in your mind and not letting anybody take that. I'm with Chris on that because I believe that's where he's coming from. But I mean,
Yes.
I feel like we're really bound. We really are bound. I mean, we just talked about food in the store. In order for us to get food that we feel is going to be sustainable to our bodies, now we have to step outside the country or go to somebody particular, but you're not going to be able to go to your local system to get it, local government store or anything to get that. So, or even your
Locality.
local, yeah, the locality, absolutely. Like, I mean, you can go to your local butcher, like he just mentioned, but I mean, again, like you guys in the big cities, you guys shop at Walmart, Albertsons, and things like that. So you're not able to hardly. There's very few butchers out there. There's very few farmers now that are farming. We already know what's going on with
Hmm.
that. So I think we don't hold enough power in order to be free. And then you asked him about being violent or nonviolent. Man, there have been wars all over this country, all over this world. And I feel like wars get stuff done,
It
battles
does.
get stuff done. So I think in a sense I used to have a friend of mine. I used to kind of bully him in a sense. I would say I hit on him, and then because he never hit me back. Then the day he hit me, I stopped hitting him back. You know, I mean, I stopped hitting him in general. The day he hit me back, I stopped hitting him. You know, so he
Right.
put me in my place. You know what I'm saying? So,
But
at
it
the
was
same
it,
time-
but you had intention behind that action, and you didn't go any further than what was needed.
true. That is true. Yeah.
To me,
We don't
that's
have
not
people who
war.
think like that.
To me, that's not war.
Okay. Okay.
Well, let me ask you this then, because from the governmental side of it, they do take it to that limit. They take it all the way to the top with force. So
Best way to make
Um,
money.
it's the best way to make money. It is also the best way to spread fear
Right.
as well.
Right.
So can it be done peaceably or can it be done with force? As Nick, let's see, Mr. Nick, he posted in the chat his opinion. Honestly, he believes that the political side of America has declined and became so separated in the past 7 years. I believe that it will take an army to remake this country back to where the foundation should be back for the people.
So
Okay.
let me read that.
I mean, we are the army. We are the people. We are the
We-
people. And I
we
forget.
are.
I
We
do
are.
believe we forget that.
That's
I do
right.
believe we forget how much control we do have.
Right.
I
That's
mean,
right.
and you know what? Okay, so let me go with Chris' side. He said nonviolent. So, you know, our money goes a long way, right?
Yes.
Vote with your dollar.
And again, vote with your dollar. So if we wanted to boycott a place and say, hey, we're not going to shop here, that's power. You know what I mean? Even when we think about the Civil Rights Act, Rosa Parks not riding the bus and they boycotted the bus. That was power because
It
the
was.
company itself almost, you know, belly flopped. You know what I mean? Due to the lack of you know, profit that was coming in. So I'm with you on that. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Chris. There we go. Yeah.
It's our
But how hard would it get though to get people on the same page? It
Bruh.
sounds great, you know what I mean? But how many? I mean, but how many?
That's true.
you just
You know
got to
what I mean?
start.
But I mean, it sounds good. I mean, I'm sure we 4 or 5, you know, could say, hey, you know, let's do that. But when you get people who are destitute or starving, who just don't care, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where, you know, that's where I feel like we lose the power. Not enough people will
right.
you know, stand up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't take everybody to stand up. It takes a few good men and women to stand up, and people will follow. Humans are followers. All humans, including the leaders. Leaders are followers too. You never start as a leader. Everyone starts as a follower. And then a person steps out, and the problem is we have too many people stepping out and using that power for evil. The root of all evil is money.
So let me pose this question. So do you gentlemen feel that we still live in a democracy?
No,
Nah.
I've never felt that.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
And I don't believe we've
Yeah.
been a republic for over 100 years either.
I don't believe that either.
That's it.
I think a lot of people's even forgot what the republic was.
I agree with that. Mr. Nick posted in there, but you honestly think that we still have voices? We have power, but I don't think we have any voices anymore, and I agree with that. So that's what I was meaning about
I
those
agree.
representatives when you go to the town hall and you voice your opinion. How
Yeah.
far does that go when
Yeah.
he leaves that building? How far does that go?
Depends on where you're at. Some places it goes far, some places it doesn't. And that's why when it really comes to change always happens within, not from the top down. It just doesn't, not in a community, in a government. It doesn't happen with the government and then trickle down to the society. That is control. It's never going to go to the aid. But if we want change in our country and just change in the world, you have to start affecting that change locally. And I think people in today's world, with how we're connected to society through phones and technology, and we're able to see what's going on in the rest of the world, we forget what's happening in front of you. And that's where you can make the difference.
Yeah. You know, and that's kind of like too, you know,
starting
when
with
we
the
started
starting with the Suns. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, you started thinking about like Gaddafi and all that. You know what I mean? You started thinking about leaders who stood up, you know, Martin Luther King, you know, Malcolm X and JFK. You started thinking about these leaders who stood out on freedom, right? And spoke out on something different. And they're no longer alive to this day. You know what I mean? And we talk about power, right? You know what I mean? Yet again, we see that people who did have power are no longer in existence. And so that itself weakens the power of the people because nobody wants to step into the shoes anymore because they're afraid of what might happen to their life. You know what I mean?
Why do you think Martin Luther stepped out and took a stand? What do you think inspired him?
You know,
Because he was just like us, man. He's no different than us. He's a
Right.
human being.
I do agree. Yeah, I do agree. But we haven't had a Martin Luther King since Martin Luther King. You know what I mean? I mean, I feel like we haven't had a JFK since JFK. You know what I mean? They came out in the government and literally said, "Hey, this is what's going on. There are secret societies who this," and we don't have that anymore. You know what I mean? And due to the point of money, like Chris mentioned, everybody wants money. You know what I mean? Hey, I give you $2 million to be sitting in this particular chair per month that you weren't making before, as long as you keep your mouth quiet about other things, or things that I choose for you to be
Right.
quiet about.
Right.
And due
Right.
to the college education and the new car, new house, and the $1 million wife, nobody's going to say anything.
What you got, Corey?
That's true. Agree. It like Chris was saying earlier, starting locally. I just start with only thing I can do is start with my sons and pass that knowledge on, and hopefully that he can pass it on to his friends and pass it on. That's the positive way I can think about that pass on that message. I do believe that was that lack of knowledge, we perish for lack of knowledge as well. If we just don't know. I mean, we just don't know.
We live in the age of information, but so many people are still in the dark.
Yeah.
And I believe the biggest culprit of that would be comfort.
Yeah,
Sure.
I do agree.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's value in everything that you just saying. As you just mentioned, passing on the knowledge and picking up a book, as we always so state, and so, and what Chris mentioning about, it doesn't have to be a whole bunch of people, maybe not all of us, and there is some value in that. However, too, as Haru had mentioned, they have proven that for those who attempt to do that singularly, they are taken out.
Yeah, they're blaspheming. Or you're in the cult.
Yeah.
You're in a cult. You
Yeah.
got too many people, 150 people, you're in the cult.
Yeah.
That's why they killed Yeshua.
Bruh.
Yeah.
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 Several.
Yeah.
Over time.
All right, next question, man.
Next question. Here we go. Okay. What is something that you had a problem with that you overcame? What advice can you give? What is something that you had a problem with that you overcame? What advice can you give? Haru.
Somebody had a problem with, Well, let me see. There's not much I can say about that I can really speak on the air. So let me try to keep it clean. No, let me honest. I had a problem with. I mean, I had mentioned before about anger. You know what I mean? Just have these anger issue. I would say. I even thought it's hereditary. You know what I mean? Looking to my family and stuff. But I did learn to have peace within myself. And by me having that peace, man, it made me a better father and better man over time, and a better friend and associate. Because without that, I probably wouldn't even be on this podcast with you fellas to this day. So I would have to say that my anger is something I learned, and I've learned to do better with it in my own life, and put the positive energy towards put my anger towards positiveness.
For me, and you're right, some things you definitely cannot say on air. So trust was a big thing for me.
Okay.
So it's one of those things you listen, growing up, mama was hard. And so that definitely invoked some feelings that I carried with me for a long time. And then to go to the Marine Corps and experience all that is, that only added to it, or should I say solidified how it felt. So trust was always a big thing for me. And so didn't really too much care about, what I said or letting people get close to me. However, I was wrong. I
Mhm.
was absolutely wrong in that. And so, what comes with trust, you have to be that part of, letting go and letting people get inside to get to know you. That's a scary
Mhm.
and tricky thing. So,
Mhm.
and being vulnerable, and because listen, I believe that it is required in order for you to grow. And
Right.
yes, you are going to get hurt sometimes, but that is a part of the process,
Mhm.
in that growth. And so, what advice can I give? It is scary to say the least. To when you talk about emotion and giving up your heart and your inner thoughts to folks, do your best to before you do that, get to know the person as best you can. And even still, it's not going to matter sometimes, but that's okay. It's okay. You're gonna shed some tears sometimes, but that is
Right.
what life is
Right.
about.
Right. Yeah.
Can you repeat
My
that question
my
one more time, RP?
Yes, yes, sir. What is something that you had a problem with that you overcame? What advice can you give?
Mm.
It's in
I'll
the
take
chat
that
too,
one
gents.
next. Okay, so I used to, no one ever told me that everybody's not gonna like you. I used to, want people please, and I didn't find out I was a
Yeah.
people pleaser until
Yeah.
my wife told me, and I was like, I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not a people pleaser, but it took her to tell me that I was. You know what I mean? So I had to step back, and I was like, well, maybe I am. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I wish I'd have been told that as a young man that everybody's just not gonna like you.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I think at like 40, after hitting my head so many times and starting over and picking back up and starting over, hitting my head, finally was like, you know what, I ran out of I can't say it on YouTube, but I just ran out of those whats, and
Right.
like I said, when I turned 40, I just stopped. I just stopped giving a you know what. There's books on it.
Hmm.
How to stop giving a you know what.
Right.
So that's just kind of not in a negative way, but in a positive way. Just I had to focus on what's really important, and it's not what the next man is thinking about me. As long as
Right.
I have people, accountability people, and the advice I can give is have you some accountability people that are going to tell you the truth.
Hmm.
That's the advice that I can give, and don't worry
Hmm.
about what. It's okay to worry about what the right people are thinking about you,
Hmm.
not the wrong
Right.
people, man.
Right.
So that's the
Right. I
advice I
feel
could
you,
give
bro. I
on that,
feel you,
gentleman.
bro.
Thank you. Yeah.
Man, I feel like all three of you guys answered the question for me. But Mackie started with anger, and RP with
Hmm.
trust, and
Right.
then Corey as a people pleaser. My problem was all three of those, and it started with
Right.
anger. Anger.
Right.
I was angry
Hmm.
all the time,
Right.
and I really didn't know why. I had thought I knew why because of certain things that's happened in my life that I won't discuss, but that caused me lots of anger. And when I finally started to analyze it, I learned, and I didn't learn this until I was with my wife, until I met my wife. And the anger, the reason, the cause of the anger was I had a lack of trust. And the lack of
Hmm.
trust also caused me to be a people pleaser.
Right. Right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and then by the time when I think met my wife when I was 28, and I didn't trust my wife for 5 years, and we were married, and I still didn't even trust her. She stuck with me through ups and downs. She stuck by my side, and she's given me the ability to learn how to trust.
You're right.
And I've never had that before in my life. You
Right.
know, I've never my mom. I can always trust my mom, but that's different.
Right.
That's always going to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
But the rest of the world, I never had that. And my
Mhm.
wife showed me that she's going to stick by my side no matter what, and that we
Mhm.
had absolute trust. And when I opened up and told her all my dirty secrets, right, she's with me. And then
Right.
now, when that happened, that's when I actually started my business. And I wouldn't be able to. The business wasn't just about making money at all. Because I actually make less money now than when I was a trash man. I made a lot more money as a trash man. But what I'm doing now,
Hmm.
I have purpose in my life, and I wouldn't have had that without my wife.
Right. That's what's up, bro.
Amen,
You
bro.
That's
know,
what's up.
Right on, bro.
Chris and Corey, you two gentlemen touched on something. So, we get engrossed in ourselves and think that this journey is meant for us to make it alone, but it is not. In both your situations, it took that outside influence to highlight what was going on in your life in order to give you that chance to change. And that is important.
Right.
Definitely when it
Right.
comes to building trust and getting to know yourself. Very, very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. What did so
Yeah.
Nick Nick answered in there. So for him, it was fear for him without going into detail. He put himself into unsafe situations just to protect the people that he works with. So when it comes to advice, get over the stigma that men didn't have feelings before the '90s and talk to someone about it. Hey man, you know how it was
Yeah.
back then. You better not
Yeah.
cry. You better
Yes.
not
Good
cry.
one, Nick.
Yeah.
Good one, Nick.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a
Good
good
job,
one.
Nick.
Yeah.
That's a good one, brother. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
It
That's
is
a
very
Nick.
good.
Yeah. And that's how I grew up, bro. My dad was,
Mhm.
man, you don't cry, you don't hug, you don't say I love you.
Ooh,
Yeah, you don't say I love
I
you.
remember
You know what I'm
Mr. I
saying?
remember.
Yeah. So
I
it, you
remember
know,
Mr. Mackey, boy. Mr.
bro,
Mackey was
thank you. Bro, I told you, I was
You know,
scared of
Mackey
this
was
dude
big,
till I was
bro.
35 years
Mr.
old.
Mackey had lots of
Bro,
Mr. Mackey, boy. We was
I'm
like,
telling you.
woo.
you know, you since you
Mr.
mentioned
Mackey.
your father, brother, and that he taught you to be this tough, manly man, right? That's what you're saying. And I didn't grow up with a father. I had my mom, and so
Right.
I was very, I wouldn't say I was girly, but I was definitely more feminine, and I didn't have the masculinity. And when I hit puberty and became a teenager, um, that pendulum swung to the other end because now I'm around peers and other men, and I felt like I had to be way more masculine than I was because I never had
Right.
that balance growing up.
Right.
And
Right.
it took me a long time to figure that out. And now there is balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Bro, I had to, yeah, that's real shit, bro. Oh, excuse me. That's
I
real
was saying
talk. Like,
my wife,
yeah.
she brought that balance.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right,
I had to
King.
say my
It
parents.
took my
I both
second.
my
It
parents.
took my second wife.
It took you-
What about your parents, Mackie?
I mean that was my perfect balance because I'm with you on the feminine energy. I've got that like I my mom taught me the feminine side, how to hang around with shopping and make her feel protected and open the car door for her and do these things. And then my dad, was the protector and provider. So I tell my wife all the time, you are very, very lucky. Let me stop. Let me
No.
stop.
Yep. Yep.
I agree.
Cool.
I
Very
agree.
good, gentlemen. Okay. Question number 3. When you first meet someone, what hits you first? Physical attraction, emotional energy, or character? Which one usually comes first, second, and third for you? Again, when you first meet someone, what hits you first? Physical attraction, emotional energy, or character? Which one usually comes first, second, and third for you? So I'll start with that one. And for me, it has been physical right off the bat. I can say that what they look like and whether that was I found that attractive is how it went further for me. Well, I won't say it never had it happen that way, but that's how it's been for me. So, secondly, it would be, emotional and character are running a close second, because then I get to find out what you are and what you are about. Now, with that physical side of it, it has certainly, when I was younger, led me into some very tumultuous relationships. Definitely life lessons learned from that. Brought out a side of me that I didn't know I had. And I didn't like that guy. I didn't like that guy right there. And so uh, now being a little bit wiser and you take a step back. I've been able to take a step back and so not to let it just be physical. Even though that may draws me to that person. It's just not all about okay, boom, we in this thing versus let's take some time, step back, and let's get to know one another.
For me, man, it really now today it's character, but it wasn't always character. When I was younger, man, it would have been physical. Everything I based off was physical, and then as I aged and got a little bit older, it transitioned into reading people's emotions. And then now that I'm 37 in the position I am now, it's actually reversed. I see a person's character now, but it took me time to be able to develop that as a man.
Yeah. So,
I
where you
like
want to hit
that.
this one?
I'll take the next one. Yeah. I first I didn't know if we were talking about men or women. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
because
that's a good
the
point.
first thing, I mean, if you talk, if,
Hey, there's
you know
some
what I'm saying?
good-looking men
Like
out
if you're
there.
talking about women, you know, when I mean, like, I mean, like, you always, when you young, you're like, oh man, he got some, you look, I'm gonna have to get big too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you, or fight or flight, the now, or whatever it is, or like I'm big in this dude, I can smash this dude, or whatever it is, what. So, but if we're talking about females, when you're young, you can be kind of shallow, and but I mean it's only natural. Beauty is only natural. I mean,
Sure.
um, it's just I used to be a sucker for beautiful, beautiful women. And like Robert said, I found myself in some crazy situations where I was like, man,
Right.
this is not fun anymore.
That's
But
right.
but
That's right.
I'm a Gemini. I'm a Gemini.
Yes.
So I kind of I believe in the zodiacs. I put like some emphasis on it, and I look at people in their eyes, man, and I walk up on you. I pretty much know. If not if you're a good person, but I know I'm just like, hey, I don't trust you, or hey, I do trust you, but I feel energy. I think a lot of us feel energy. If
Hmm.
you're more in tune with it, yeah, I can. You walk up on me, brother. I'm like, oh no, let me get my daughters back, or or
Hmm.
telling
Yeah.
my wife, this is not the, this is. I'm just. I had to tell my wife, this is not the right situation. We need to leave, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, that's just my spin on it, gents.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like all y'all. I feel like when I was in my flesh, I'll say that in my own
Mm.
ignorance, in the
That's
sense,
good. That's good.
the physical attraction was always that, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like Chris on, when my wife's probably the only one where I seen her beauty, but it was that emotional energy that I fell in love with. You know what I mean? And then with a great character and with the beauty, you got what you want. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong with
Right.
that. Um, but yeah, when I was out in the world, I mean, I'm like, cool. I'm like all of us. Like you just see only a few things, and that's got to be it. And you end up in a bunch of mess. You know what I mean? And so once I
Right.
grew up my own maturity, um, man, that emotional energy became key. So I would say emotional energy, character, and then physical attraction.
But I will say, in the business world for myself, um, I still do judge people physically, but not in the sense as I did when I was a child. Um, but if
Right.
I'm going to do business with somebody, personally, if that person's not in shape, that tells me a lot about
Mm.
their character, in my opinion. Uh, I know a lot of people may not see it that way, but for me, um, I know what it takes to have to be in shape, to stay in shape, especially in the world that we live in today. And if a
Hmm.
man can't maintain physical fitness, that tells me a lot about his discipline.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So Nick had a conversation, right? And it kind of ties into this. So he brought up a good point. So when it comes down to a woman answering this question, right? A woman is going to be it's going to be the emotional energy. I believe. You know what I mean? A woman can have a conversation with 2 or 3 minutes and realize if she's gonna marry you for if you the husband, if you the one for her the rest of life, or you not. You know what I mean? And then of course, you're looking at a man's point of view. The average man, based upon the world itself, is going to be a physical attraction. So I thought that I know Corey was kind of going with that too, but if you're a woman answering this question, it'll probably be more emotional energy than anything. Is what
Right.
he was saying.
Right on.
And
Right.
so, so listen, so it sounds like for us, to a certain degree, when you're young and dumb, it's that physical side of it. And so it is how,
Mm-hmm.
as you get some wisdom, if you will, some years on the
Mm-hmm.
wall that you
Mm-hmm.
learn from those experiences, then you start to see that, hey, well, hold on. Beauty is only beauty is only skin deep. It's a lot more to that beauty.
Mm-hmm.
It's that stuff that's inside that person that really really matters. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
'Cause if
And
not,
you don't know
then
these days. You don't never know these days. The BBLs and all these other things they
Right.
have. You walk up
Right.
on something and think what it is, and it ain't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Go home and eyelashes coming off, and the hair
Yes.
coming off, and the
Yes.
arms coming off. I mean,
Booger wooger.
yeah,
Booger wooger.
Yeah.
Booger wooger.
I personally do not like makeup.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah.
I don't like makeup.
That's same here. I
I'm
want to
with
see
you,
it. I want
man.
to see what you look like.
I mean, there is.
I'm gonna see
I-
the next day.
I do like mascara though.
Yeah.
I like mascara. I like when the eyelashes are nice and dark and it lightens up the eyes. But that's it. That's the only thing I actually like when it comes to makeup. I prefer
right.
it not. But if we're going out, you know, I like my wife to put on some mascara. You know, just it looks good.
Yeah.
But I don't like makeup.
I'm down with the natural beauty too.
I love-
I like that.
I love natural. I want to see some stretch marks. I want to see some age. I wanna see some
That's a
some-
character, man.
some war wounds. Some war wounds. You know what I mean? Like my wife. You know, she's married. You know, we're married twice and seven babies and still bad. You know what I mean? So I want to see some natural, man. What you gonna look like after that first baby? You know.
Look at their mama.
what
What's
I
the
wanna know.
old saying? What's the
Yeah.
old saying? If you want to know
Woo!
what your wife gonna look like in the future, look at her mom.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Nick, one more thing for Nick. Nick said, but at the same time, if you have two men are trying to, he means like in the friendship type of way. If you have two men are trying to connect, it only takes about 10 minutes for them to connect or for you. Make a mental decision if you guys are going to vibe or not. And men are pretty simple like that. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, I'm gonna let you in or I'm not gonna let you in. It's just that simple.
Right.
You know?
That's right. Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Question
It
number
takes,
4.
it takes a real. Yes.
Go ahead,
Go ahead, Robert. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Speak your piece.
No, I'm saying it takes real men too to be able to compliment your brothers and not be intimidated. You know what I mean? Like we're too old. You know, just I've seen it. You know, we at some point somebody is probably oh, this dude think he all that because you know he's got a bicep. You know what I mean? It just it's just a little weird. You know what I mean? we should be able to compliment each other. You know what I mean? And
That's
not
true.
be and not be weird. You know.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
real men don't get insecure about silly stuff, trivial stuff.
And you also should be able to call each other out too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real friend, man. And I don't want people that is gonna act nice around me. I want men that's gonna challenge me. And if I'm messing up, I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
And I expect all of you to do that. We're friends now. You guys are in my circle.
Well, when you part your hair, Chris, right? No, I'm just messing.
Well, you know, as we had, talked about in prior discussion, that brotherhood and accountability was one of the questions, and that's dead on. And to what Corey was talking about, we spoke on this too, is the decrease of masculinity, out there in society, to where you feel uncomfortable, saying whatever you want to or telling whatever you may feel, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, as long as you know how you feel and what you mean by that. So,
yeah.
All right. Question number 4. Do you believe things can be passed down to sons and daughters? Do you believe that things can be passed down to sons and daughters? Corey.
Yes, I do, man. I think I passed some things on to one of my sons, Caleb. Man, I love Caleb. Caleb act just like me, and he wants to. The bad part of me, he's like, Dad, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I wish I had. I said, son, I don't act like that anymore. So I think, and I really did pass some things on. Another thing was my wife. My wife is her father was a theologian, a doctor. She grew up in church. She's preacher's kid, on the pew for like 30 years. And so she acts just like her dad, man. Like I'm talking about the bad and the good. And I talked to her dad, and he was a preacher, and he used to take them down through there. Okay. And so, yeah, I believe that things can be passed on to the children. So yes, I believe that. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, I definitely hope so, that I can pass some things on. I definitely believe you. Yes, you definitely pass things on to son or daughter, even if you are not there. You still pass things on. I believe, things can be locked in the DNA. I believe in epigenetics. I know we a lot think about things, passing things on to our children in an emotional way or character and how we raise them. But a lot of people don't think about physically, like before you have a kid. And if you do not, like, if you're an out of shape, obese person, you can pass those genes through epigenetics onto your children and make your children more susceptible. And they actually start with a worse set of genes in life than you did because of the actions you had before when you had that child. Um, so I do believe if you plan on having kids, I mean, at least give them a head start. Stay in shape.
Yeah.
I mean, you pass that on to your kids through your genes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everything we do, 100%, our kids are going to reflect what we do.
Yeah, I passed on them good looks, and when I see my boys get out the shower at 3 or 4, I knew I had passed other things on, so I wasn't worried. I'm messing, but yeah, I definitely believe so.
That
You
boy
know,
Oh,
I
buddy.
mean, all my kids look like me. All of them act like me. It's like if you got six different personalities, each one of my kids have one. You know, but man, it's amazing. I think it's an amazing thing to see your kids have reflection of you within themselves. I do, because that's something that I think they felt that was valuable in you, that not that they wanted to take, not even that you passed it down, but the things that they want to take. My oldest son has great work ethic. He works very hard, couple different jobs. I mean, he don't complain. He just does his thing, but he plans for the future, and that's like me. So I mean, all my kids have something that I feel like has been passed down. I and I'm like Corey too. I pass down some of the negative things because at a different time frame of when my kids, I raised my kids. Some of my kids are older, some of my kids are younger. I got a 25-year-old and a 3-year-old. You know, um, but I feel like those things will make them who they are as they continue to grow, and for the better or worse, for sure, for better or worse. I don't necessarily think bad things is considered a bad thing. I think things make you better over time. You know what I mean? No matter what it is.
I have a question for you guys. So when it comes to children and reflection, have you ever noticed in your kids ever reflected a negative aspect that you put on them? And then you actually recognize that, like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
like that's me. And then you
Right.
recognize that and you learn from it.
Yep. 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 Yeah.
Every day
Yeah.
for me, man.
Bruh, I look, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah. I
I'm
hear
like,
you, bruh.
oh, really, girl? Now
I
take a
tell my
step.
daughter, she's bossy. I said, "Why are you so bossy?" My wife looks at me, and I'm like, "Not me."
Are you? Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I see that.
go ahead, Chris.
I said I see that, especially the difference with my kids. My two daughters, man, they are just like me, and I'm glad I had them when I did and not before, because then they would have gotten so much more negative aspects of me. And then I see when they do good things, I mean, that makes me proud of me.
Sure.
And you should be. You should be proud when your kids, I mean, you should be proud of your kids because you did that. You did that.
Right. Yeah.
It's a lot of
I'm in agreement.
responsibility.
It is. It is. I'm in agreement with all three of you gentlemen. Yes, it can be passed down. So, and a lot of times I think that we are not aware as parents, when the kids, right, because they're little and we thinking that they're not understanding or may not be comprehending. But kids love to tell their day. And they are absolutely watching any and all that you do, from the words that come out of your mouth, how you move your hand, your facial expressions, what's in your eyes. They are doing all that stuff. A lot of times we're not aware of that, man. And so
Right.
my little one, she is that bossiness, that little sucker there, man. Is she is something else. She is pretty bossy with me. It's like, where do you get that from? Let's get that from my mom. You get that from my mom. She is something else. And so you do see some of the traits that are passed on to your kids, which it is beautiful, especially when they're good, man. And then they display those things and how they talk and how they pass their things on other people. But I'm in agreement with you guys for sure.
So Nick had a
Yes,
follow up.
yeah.
Did you already answer, Corey? Did you go?
No. I already did. Yes, sir. I
Okay.
already
Nick
did,
had
bro.
a follow up. I was going to bring this up. He says, here's a follow up on this question. He says, is there a way that a community can come together to change the bad habits of their parents have instilled in them, or is it something that only parents can do? So, can a community come in and change the bad habits of parents, or is it something that parents can only do by changing the bad habits in their own kids?
Well, listen, you are your own person. Um,
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
think yeah.
it would have to be that person would have to be totally into that. You know, you can do all the talking that you want to anyone about anything, but if they are not willing to hear that and let that digest, how are you going to make that person change?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's community that's part of what changed me. You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, growing up, you had so many people watching you. You know what I mean? And you consider them your elders, and you always kind of, attempted to walk on a better line. You know what I mean? Because you knew you were being guided, and like you said, I knew I was being guided by the right people. You know what I mean? Which may be acceptable to be guided by the community. You know what I mean? Like I said, my dad was kind of he was kind of an angry person in a sense, but he used it towards the gym. You know what I mean? So that's what I do now. If I'm feel some type of way, I use that energy for the gym. You know what I mean? And so the community changed, but yet again, looking through my parents, like kind of like what Chris just mentioned, when I look at my parents, I tend to learn from other people, and my daughter does the same thing. But and my son, but I tend to learn from other people, but which I believe is part of the community, and the community has made a big impact on me as well.
I mean,
And you brothers,
as Mark Aurelius talks about, shared law, and he says that the planet Earth is one big city.
yeah, yeah,
And
I feel you on that.
when you think about it, and actually, me and Sam, Sam at the gym, me and had a short conversation today when we kind of mentioned shared law and that the world as a city, and then I told him, I'm like, this conversation me and you are having right now, I said this could affect somebody in Hong Kong. Right now, you may not think that. It's hard to wrap your mind around that. Like, how can this conversation we're having in this private room affect somebody on the other side of the planet? Well, for one, we have technology now, but I changed his thoughts. He changed my thoughts, right? In that conversation, I go out into the world, and that conversation is going to change the way I think about things. Okay. And when I interact with another person, then that's an interaction. Then there's another interaction. And every time we're making changes throughout each other, and that spreads, and then that one person talk to somebody, that somebody goes on the Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever platform they're on, they make a comment, they make a statement, and then now that person on the other side of the world sees it.
Right.
When no one realized how we all affect each other, because we do. Every decision we have in life affects the next person.
Yes.
Everything carries.
I like that. I like that. Yes, sir.
Okay, last question. Last question. Let's see here. Do you believe that empowering others can accomplish more than the individual achievement? Do you believe that empowering others can accomplish more than individual achievement? Chris, you want to start it off?
Yeah. I believe 100% that empowering others. Yes, 100%. Individual accomplishments are great. We need them, especially to have a good community. We only strong as our weakest link. But the act of empowering others around you, that's community. Well, it goes on to our last question. And if we don't empower others, we're not going to get anywhere. We are humans. We need each other, whether we like it or not. We need each other. And we need to lift each other up. We need to stand behind each other and help each other. When you see that person on the road and you have an opportunity to help them, your kids ain't in the car and it's just you, man, stop over and see what's going on and help that person.
Yeah.
I promise you it's going to change the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amen to that, bro. Yeah, I'm with you on that, bro.
Even if that person doesn't appreciate the help,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
it's still
Yeah.
going to change the world.
Yeah, you planting that seed. You know what I mean? Always planting that seed no matter what. You know what I mean? And I'm with Chris, man. Everywhere I go, I'll look to make an impact. Even if it's just saying hi. I mean, you can tell when somebody hadn't had a good day. You know what I mean? Saying hi or good grand rising or hey, have a wonderful day or it's good to see you. You know, and when I go I'm in the security world here at the lake. And when I see people, I'm saying, you know what? Hey, it's good to see you. You know what I mean? Because there ain't no day promised to us, right? So it's good to see you, brother. And you'd be surprised, man. That goes a long way. Next 2 or 3 weeks, hey, man, you said that to me, man. It made my night. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm with you. I mean, community's big, and I will put the wayside in order to, make somebody feel better than myself for sure.
I'm
It's the only
along
way
those
to
same.
live.
Yeah, I'm along
Yes,
those
sir.
same lines too. Asking people how they're doing. I don't know these folks, but
Mm-mm.
tell them to have a great day. And to what you're saying, you'd be surprised, when they get that smile on their face because they probably ain't heard that in some
Yes.
time, you
Yeah.
know. And individual achievement, I agree with you, Chris. It is necessary because it's part of the motivation that keeps you going. But empowering folks, as the saying goes, let's go reach one, teach one. And so you
Mm-hmm.
you you
Yes,
keep
sir.
that thing going, man. I certainly
Yeah.
believe in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with all you gentlemen. I believe that my purpose, as I've gotten older, is to help people, man. I believe that hopefully
Mm-hmm.
with the my nonprofit endeavor, it will be to help people, whether that be
Right.
not necessarily financially, whether that be by my resilience, by my story, or if I
Mm-hmm.
can help them not make the same mistakes that I made, that would be great. If one person didn't make the same stupid mistakes I did, I would like to help people. That I believe that's my wife and I. That's our ministry is to help people, and that's and me and us helping people. That's helping us, and we get the same. I get the same satisfaction by
Right.
Chris said. Pulling over, helping somebody, or
Mm-hmm.
you know say that you'll see a person that's less fortunate. I'm not gonna say a bum, but some people would be like, well, no, I don't know what they're gonna do with the money, but once it left
Right.
my hands, I really
Yeah.
don't care because they
Yeah.
just possibly could just have needed it, man.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's just my little
Yeah.
spin on it, gents.
Absolutely,
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
absolutely,
What kind of
absolutely.
nonprofit are you running, brother?
It is it's called Gallant Leaders of the World, Glow, and it's to help it's to help veterans, second chance people, or any men that want to give back. I believe that my like I keep talking about my resilience is to give back and lock hands. I have a brother that's on this podcast. I have a brother that's police officers. I have brothers that are gyms and military, and I want to link up so that we can give back to the community, whether that be helping people, whether that be helping single parents, whether it be helping teenagers, and I'm going back to prisons to give my story, things like that. I really don't have one simple thing, but I just want to do a lot of things, and that's just to help give back, help give back. So that's the nonprofit that I've started, and hopefully that will be up and running here soon, man.
Right on, brother. Right on, brother. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's all the questions, gents. That was a beautiful conversation all the way around.
We got
All the way around.
Nick in the comment. He has a quote. Can we read it?
Yes, go ahead.
He says, "Your mind shines brightest when you enlighten others, your heart when you encourage others, your soul when you elevate others, and your life when you empower others." It's good.
Like that.
It's good.
Very
That's
good.
deep. I
Very
like that,
good.
Nick.
Very good. King Mackey,
Yes, sir.
got that spotlight, King?
I sure do. I sure do. All right. So our spotlight tonight is Rachel Carson. Rachel Carlson, born in 1907, passed in 1964, was an American marine biologist, writer, and environmentalist who had scientific groundwork transforming public understanding of humanity's relationship with nature. Her 1962 book Silent Spring exposes the dangers of indiscrimination pesticides used and helped launch the modern environmental movement. She was born in Pennsylvania, passed in Maryland. Her early education, raised on a Pennsylvania farm, Carson developed a deep fascination with nature and her mother. Initially an English major at Pennsylvania College for Women. She switched to biology and earned a master's degree in zoology from Johns Hopkins University. Summers at a marine biology laboratory in Woods Hole strengthened her focus on ocean life. Her career, Carson joined the U.S. Bureau of Fisheries in 1936, blending science and communication through radio, scripts, and publications. Her first book, Under the Sea, Wind, 1941, and later The Sea Around Us, 1951, combining scientific accuracy with with the poet prose, winning the 1952 National Book Award. The Edge of the Sea, 1955, continued her exploration of coastal ecology and human interpretation with marine systems. Looks like here her legacy, despite battling breast cancer, Carson testified before Congress and continued advocating for the ecological responsibility. Her work reframed environmental protection as a modern duty, inspiring Earth Day and generations of scientists, activists, and policymakers. Today, she is remembered as one of the most important voices in environmental history and modern science communication. Today, we want to give our spotlight to Rachel Carson. Thank you for your contribution.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right on, right
Awesome
on.
stuff. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. All right, Kings, that brings us to the end. That brings us to the end. Closing remarks. Closing remarks.
Beautiful, brothers. I appreciate you guys as always.
Closing remarks. If you have the opportunity when you wake up tomorrow to help someone, take the time and do it.
Sure.
I promise you, you'll feel better.
Sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Like you said, reach one, teach one, man.
That's right.
Yes.
Sir.
That's right.
Yes.
Listen, we absolutely encourage your thoughts, your suggestions. I appreciate you, Nick, for your input tonight. Always welcome, King.
Be careful, brother.
Absolutely. Your opinions. Look, you follow us on Facebook, Deezer, Apple Podcasts, Riverside FM, YouTube. Again, if you can't watch all this handsomeness on the screen, you're right down the road. Plug it up earplugs and listen to these beautiful voices coming right at you. And I'm gonna let Chris. Anyway, I love every one of you, and I appreciate you.
Love you, brother.
Absolutely. Chris, I'll let you say what you was gonna say, King.
As always, guys, always have faith in yourself, dedicate you to yourself, and have discipline.
Peace.
Yes, sir.